Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're diving into Forsaken, you're probably wondering which characters to pick. Trust me, picking the right survivor or killer can totally change the outcome of your game. Each character has unique abilities that can either make or break your strategy, so it's super important to understand what works for your playstyle. Whether you're the sneaky type who loves to escape unnoticed or someone who thrives on taking down opponents, your character choice can really make a difference. So today, I've put together a tier list of the best survivors and killers in Forsaken, and I'm here to help guide you through it. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up your game, this video will give you all the insights you need to pick the characters that fit you best. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which character to choose for every situation. Let's jump in. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking survivors or killers in Forsaken. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. First, let's start with survivors.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, 2-time. Alright, let's dive into one of the most, let's say, unfortunate survivors in Forsaken, 2-time. Now don't get me wrong, the guy has potential, but when it comes to actually being useful in a game full of badass survivors with some insane abilities, 2-time just doesn't quite cut it. You know, no fancy active abilities to make you feel like a superhero in a pinch. Instead, you get a passive ability that's, well, a little too meh to be excited about. So here's the deal. His passive might sound decent at first: increased speed, restored stamina, and the ability to shrug off effects after a critical hit or when you're the last one standing. Sounds like it could help, right? Well, here's the thing. All of that is so situational. It's like he's designed to be useful only in those super rare moments when you're basically already doomed. I mean, who needs speed when you're getting chased by the Forsaken and there's no way out? And don't even get me started on the stamina. Who's actually sitting there counting their stamina bars when there's chaos everywhere? When you stack it up against the other survivors who can literally do anything from healing teammates to dropping traps or popping special moves that actually matter, 2-time just seems, well, not that great. He doesn't really shine in any aspect. It's one of those survivors where you look at the ability list and think, is this really all I get? It's tough to make a comeback with a character who doesn't give you the tools to really fight back. Maybe you'll get lucky, but let's be honest, you're better off picking someone else. The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Elliot. Alright, let's talk about Elliot and why I think he deserves his spot in C tier. A lot of players might argue that he should be in B tier, and I get it. He has a lot to offer in terms of healing, especially when you're in a team with great coordination. But here's the thing. Without that support system, Elliot kind of falls short. He thrives in team play, no doubt, but if you're flying course load or don't have a solid team dynamic, you're in for a rough time. His whole kit is built around supporting the squad, not exactly the best for solo survival. Now, the healing aspect of Elliot's abilities is where he really shines. If you're playing as part of a group and the synergy is on point, Elliot can keep you all alive through some pretty intense moments. But the problem is that healing doesn't do much for you when you're on your own. His abilities are more about helping others out, and without that extra support, he doesn't bring enough self-sustain to the table. When you need to focus on self-preservation, Elliot can feel like a bit of a liability. I think this is why I can't bring myself to rate him higher than C tier. If you're not in a team where you can rely on your teammates to pull their weight, Elliot just doesn't have the tools to carry you through a solo game. His healing is great, but not much else stands out in terms of keeping himself safe. If you're playing with a squad, sure, he's invaluable, but otherwise you'll find yourself wishing for a more versatile survivor to make it out on top. The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Noob, Builderman, and Chance. Alright, let's dive into the world of Forsaken survivors, but this time we're talking about the B tier ones. You know, the survivors that are solid and fun to play, but maybe don't have the same game-changing abilities as the top tier ones. They're like the unsung heroes of the game, and today we're gonna give them the love they deserve. First up, we have Noob. Yes, you read that right. Noob is actually one of the most balanced survivors in the game. He's like that middle-of-the-road player that's not too flashy, but still gets the job done. Noob's abilities are pretty versatile. He can boost his speed, go invisible for a short period, and even heal himself with a slate skin potion. If you're a beginner, or just someone who likes to keep things simple, Noob's got your back. Sure, he's not the most overpowered survivor, but he's reliable when it counts, and sometimes that's all you need. Now, let's talk about Builderman. This guy is all about supporting his team, and I mean that in the best possible way. Builderman brings a lot of value to the table, and he's essentially an upgraded version of the Elliot Survivor. What makes him stand out? Well, first off, he can build dispensers that heal teammates in a small radius. That's a game changer when you're in the heat of battle. Plus, he can erect sentries that stun or slow down the killers, giving the team some breathing room. Builderman might not be the one to take down the killer single-handedly, but he'll definitely make your life easier and help you survive longer. Then we have Chance. Oh, Chance. This survivor is a bit of a wildcard. His abilities are entirely based on luck, so you never really know what you're going to get. Sometimes you'll be on top of the world, and other times you'll wish you had chosen anyone else. But when Chance is on his A-game, he can be surprisingly powerful. Whether it's flipping coins, rolling dice, or making random decisions, he has the ability to shoot the killer, restore his stamina or health, and even get rid of status effects. It's all about luck with Chance, but when you hit those lucky rolls, he can turn the tide in your favor. Let's take a second to appreciate the randomness that Chance brings to the table. You could be in a tight spot, low on health, and then bam, he gets that perfect roll and suddenly you're back in the game. It's the kind of survivor you either love or hate, depending on your tolerance for chaos. But hey, it keeps things interesting, right? Now, while these B-tier survivors aren't exactly setting the world on fire, they definitely have their moments. Noob's speed boosts and invisibility come in clutch. Builderman's dispensers and sentries are fantastic for team play. And Chance? Well, he's a gambler's dream, or nightmare, depending on how lucky you are. They all bring something unique to the table, and if you're looking for variety or just trying to mix things up, they're definitely worth considering. One thing you'll notice about these survivors is that they're not about flashy high damage plays, they're more about strategic support and adaptability. Whether it's helping your team with healing, creating distractions for the killer, or playing the odds with Chance, these survivors thrive in specific situations. You won't be relying on them for constant action, but when the time comes, they'll definitely hold their own. The thing is, the B-tier survivors may not be as game-breaking as the S-tier or A-tier characters, but they definitely have their place in the game. If you're in a team scenario, having a Builderman on your side can make all the difference, and Noob's versatility can save your skin in tough spots. And with Chance, you never know. Today might just be your lucky day. So if you're looking for a fun, unpredictable experience in Forsaken, give these B-tier survivors a try. They might not always win you the game, but they'll definitely make things interesting. And sometimes, that's all you really need, right? The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shedletsky, 00707 and Duseka. Alright, let's dive into some of the most interesting survivors in Forsaken. We're talking about characters that might just change the course of your game, making those intense moments even more thrilling. First up, let's talk about Shedletsky, who sits comfortably in the A tier. He could have easily been S tier, but there's just something about him that keeps him in the middle. Maybe it's his two abilities. Don't get me wrong, they're great, but two abilities can only do so much in such a fast-paced game. Now, Shedletsky has this awesome slash ability that can stun and damage killers, which is perfect for those moments when you're in a tight spot. And let's not forget his fried chicken skill, which restores HP. Yep, you heard me right. Fried chicken in the middle of a killer chase. That's some serious survival food. These two abilities are what help you stay alive and even turn the tide of a match. You can be the one carrying the team to victory with just these skills. Moving on to 007N7, one of the most fun survivors in Forsaken. This character is a clone master. Seriously, 007N7 brings the game-changing clone abilities into play. The ability to spawn clones and control them to confuse the killer is ridiculously strong. Think about it, you can create all these fake targets for the killer to chase, leaving you free to do your thing. The killer might end up wasting time chasing a clone while you're off on another objective. It's like playing 4D chess while the killer is stuck in checkers. But here's the catch, high-level players, they can see through the clones pretty quickly, so if you're up against top-tier competition, it's going to be trickier to pull off the clone players easily. However, if you're in lower to mid-level lobbies, 007 is an absolute game-changer. I mean, who doesn't love a good old bit of misdirection, right? If you like to mess with your opponent's head, this survivor is definitely for you. Let's take a look at Duseka, who is another solid choice for supporting your team. Duseka is the type of survivor who's there to back up the squad and make sure everyone survives the madness. First, he's got spawn protection, an ability that creates a protective sphere around a fellow player for 10 seconds. That's 10 precious seconds of invulnerability, where no killer can touch your teammate. It's clutch, especially when you need to bail out someone who's about to be caught. But wait, there's more. Duseka can also use his plasma beam ability on any survivor, giving them a nice speed boost. Meanwhile, the killer gets hit with a slowdown effect, so it's a win-win for your team. Imagine boosting a teammate just as they're about to escape, while the killer is slowed down and struggling to keep up. This kind of strategic play can be the difference between life and death in Forsaken. On top of all that, Duseka has one unique trick up his sleeve. He levitates. Yep, no need to worry about those footsteps echoing and giving away your position. Since he floats, the sound of his steps is faint, making it harder for the killer to track him down. It's like the perfect little stealthy bonus that makes Duseka a great choice when you want to play it a little sneakier. So, whether you're running with Shadletsky, pulling off insane clone tactics with 007 and 7, or supporting the team with Duseka, these survivors are sure to keep the action fresh and exciting in Forsaken. Each one brings something different to the table, and that's what makes them all fun to play in their own right. Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments. The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Guest 1337. Alright, let's talk about Guest 1337, the absolute beast of survivors in Forsaken. If you've been playing this game and haven't unlocked this character yet, what are you waiting for? Seriously, Guest 1337 isn't just any survivor, it's a game changer. We're talking about someone who can knock down killers with a charge ability, turn invisible to avoid being seen, and even block attacks. And if that wasn't enough, they can stun the killer with a punch. Yes, you heard that right, a punch. These abilities are so OP that you'll be racking up wins in no time, even if you're playing solo. Now, the secret to really mastering this character is all about timing. It's not just about using the abilities whenever you feel like it. It's about knowing the exact right moment to pop them off. If you nail the timing, you can turn the tables on the killer in the most satisfying ways. Trust me, there's no greater feeling than avoiding a killer's attack, turning invisible, and then coming back to land that knockout punch while they stand there totally confused. The sheer satisfaction is unreal, and let's be real, nothing beats being the survivor who consistently outplays the killer, right? But here's the kicker, this character is probably too powerful right now. The devs are probably looking at it and thinking, we might need to tone this down soon. So, you really want to unlock Guest 1337 ASAP if you haven't already. Get those wins while you can, because who knows how long this character will stay this strong. It's the perfect time to boost your win rate before they nerf it into oblivion. Don't miss out on the opportunity to dominate the game as Guest 1337. Now let's move on to the killers. The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Jason. Alright, let's talk about Jason for a bit. Now Jason is kind of the starter pack killer in Forsaken, the one you'll probably pick up first. But here's the thing, don't expect any wild surprises from him. His whole kit is centered around slashing and applying status effects like bleeding, helpless, and slowness. These can be really useful if you're strategic with them, but honestly, they don't hit as hard as some of the other killers when it comes to raw damage or the duration of those status effects. It's like he's got a lot of tools in his belt, but they're not the flashiest or the most powerful ones out there. That said, Jason can still be a solid choice if you're looking to play it safe and try out the basic mechanics of the game. The bleed effect is awesome for chipping away at survivors' health, and if you can catch them when they're helpless or slowed, it can really turn the tide. But compared to the other killers in the roster, he's a bit more on the underwhelming side. So if you're aiming for those high damage moments or super long lasting status effects, you might want to give Jason a bit of a pass and try out someone with more punch. The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Cool Kid. Alright, let's talk about the Cool Kid in Forsaken. Now this guy is like Jason's slightly upgraded cousin. Better, but not by a whole lot. I mean, Cool Kid has his charm, right? His pizza delivery skill is kinda wild. You get to summon 2 robots that automatically reveal the location of the nearest survivors. Yeah, that's right. 2 little robots running around like a personal tracking system for you. It's super handy for spotting those sneaky survivors trying to slip through your fingers, but let's be real, it's not going to put you in the S or A tier league. Now, don't get me wrong, his corrupt nature is also pretty cool, pun intended. You can shoot projectiles through walls, which sounds badass, but here's the catch, it also slows down those projectiles. So, while it's awesome for wallbanging, you might find yourself wishing the speed was a little faster. He's good, but compared to the big hitters in the game like the S and A tier killers, he's just a bit more chill. Definitely a solid choice if you like a more laid-back, tactical playstyle, but not exactly a game changer. The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, John Doe. Alright, let's talk about one of the most menacing killers in Forsaken, John Doe. Now this guy is as ruthless as 1x1x1, but with a little twist. His abilities aren't just point and click simple. Oh no, they require some serious skill to pull off, and once you get the hang of it, it's like a whole new level of terror. His skills are especially deadly when you're up against survivors who think they've got everything figured out. One of my personal favorites is the 404 Error ability. The way it lets you reveal the auras of all the remaining survivors for 4 seconds is absolutely game-changing. Imagine the panic as you see where everyone is hiding or rushing to. What makes John Doe so powerful is how he can manipulate the game, especially when there are only a few survivors left in the lobby. If you know how to time that 404 error just right, it's a guaranteed way to corner them and take them down. It's not the easiest ability to use, but once you nail it, it'll leave even the best players scrambling. And that's the beauty of John Doe. It's not just about being ruthless, it's about being clever and unpredictable. So, if you're looking to up your killer game and leave survivors shaking in their boots, this guy's definitely worth mastering. The survivors or killers in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, 1x1. So you're looking to dominate in Forsaken, huh? Well, let me introduce you to the one and only 1x1. This guy is the definition of an S-tier killer, and trust me, you want him in your roster if you're aiming to be at the top. Imagine a ruthless maniac who has all the tools to make your enemies wish they'd never spawned in the first place. From his insane range of attacks to his ability to manipulate the battlefield, 1 is a force to be reckoned with. Let's talk about his effects for a second. Glitched, poisoned, slowed, you name it, he can make it happen. That's right, every time he strikes, he can lay down some nasty status effects on his victims. It's like playing chess, but your opponent is constantly under attack from every angle. And if that wasn't enough, he has Rejuvenate the Rotten, an ability that allows him to bring dead survivors back to life as his very own minions. Can you imagine what a nightmare that is for anyone trying to escape? You kill one survivor and suddenly, they're back on your side, wreaking havoc with you. It's a strategy you won't want to miss. Now, dealing with 1x1 isn't easy. He has everything you need to control the game, and that's why he's at the top of the killer food chain in Forsaken. If you want to make a name for yourself and rise to the top tier ranks, unlocking him is your best bet. He's tough, relentless, and most importantly, unpredictable. So, if you want to truly forsake your opponents, get your hands on 1x1 because he's not just a killer, he's a game changer. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.